welcome to Squareoff.
Donna, students at some Quebec elementary schools will not be sent home with any homework for the next year. Now, this is a pilot project they're trying out, but I think it's ridiculous. Kids need structure.
Mark, by eliminating homework, it'll force teachers to teach within the confines of the classroom. And we'll discuss that later on Squareoff.
Is Apple's iCloud to blame for the latest celebrity nude picture leaks? Well, there's no definitive answer yet, but Apple says they're looking into that possibility.
Jennifer Lawrence and Kirsten Dunst's naked pictures have been leaked and posted online. The Telegraph in London is reporting that the hackers gained access to the pictures by breaking into the women's Icloud accounts, a program that virtually every iPhone owner has on their phone.
Joining us today from Toronto, we have Alain Ghiai. He's a digital security expert and CEO of DigitalSafe. Alain, should everyone who uses iCloud on their phone be turning it off right now?
Well, I would definitely recommend not to store personal information. I use iCloud for synchronizing my schedule and sometimes my address book, although I took away all my contacts away from iCloud. I do not store photos on iCloud myself. So if you have something that's sensitive, I would not recommend it. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't use iCloud. It's a great tool for other services.
But you can turn iCloud off for those other things, like for photos, for example. You can just disable that particular portion of it?
I believe you can, because what iCloud does is that it asks you if you want to synchronize and upload to iCloud. It's photos and all sorts of data. So I would recommend you contact Apple if you have concerns, or you look at your iPhone or your computer and make sure that there's no automatic synchronization with iCloud. A lot of time it happens and people just don't realize that.
You are a security expert. Are you surprised at how vulnerable the iPhone is?
I have to say I'm a little bit surprised, because Apple has a fantastic system. We develop our applications on Apple and Android. Apple until now has had the reputation of being more secure. So in a way I am a little bit surprised, but as companies grow bigger, and Apple is certainly one of the largest companies in the world, there will be security flaws in their system. Lately they've had a few patches on their upgrades, and the other thing is also iPhone is coming out with different version of iOS, which is their operating system, and they've had quite a few upgrades lately. So the more you do upgrades, the more bugs will come up at the beginning until they iron things out.
So, Alain, I'm going to make a stretch here by saying that these celebrities whose accounts were hacked for their nude picture might also be in a position where their bank information could also be hacked through iCloud. I mean, if I can get to your nude pictures, I should be able to get to your banking too, right?
Absolutely. That is the scary part. First of all, I would not put personal, let alone nude pictures of myself on iCloud or anywhere. But on top of that, as you may know, Apple is coming up. They just partnered with Visa, MasterCard, and Amex to do a payment system through your iPhone. I do have an iPhone myself as well. And I also found out that Alibaba, which is a huge e-commerce base in China, now is coming up with a payment system with fingerprint. So if you put your credit card information in a system that can easily hack your photos, that spells trouble for me.
Mm-hmm. What about the new cards that you can use, the tap card, whether it's your debit or a Visa? Are they vulnerable to being compromised as well?
Those are the most compromisable ones, I hate to tell you, because it uses near-field communication, or NFC for short. This is exactly the technology that Apple is going to integrate into their new payment system. It's not a new technology by any means. It hasn't been used too much. I have a MasterCard that has a tap and go, but I'd rather swipe or just sign, or even better, put my PIN code.
That's terrifying, really, when you think about it. If you drop your card, lose it at all, people can access it simply by tapping.
Well, let me give you a little bit of background. I used to be in the electronic payment industry before I founded DigitalSafe. And one of the things we learned is that you can hack into any payment device, even any kind of chip and pin. I'm sure you've heard so many stories. We saw the Target hacking as well. So definitely, if you're going to have essentially a wireless or a Wi-Fi way of tapping on a machine and then paying for it, somebody can hack into that airwave, so to speak, and get your info in transit. Now, people are going to argue that it's very secure. There's always something that's going to happen to a secure system.
Can you clarify, when a card is expired and you receive your new bank card, for example, does it automatically come with the tap feature unless you opt out of it, or do you have to request it?
Well, it depends which country you're from. So I have a US, a Canadian, and a Swiss card. So in Europe, they've had chip and pin for ages. Canada has it as well. My card has chip and pin and tap and go. So when I get my card from my Swiss bank, it doesn't have the tap and go. If I get it from my Canadian bank, it has the tap and go. I don't think you can opt out from it. It depends which country and which bank. So in Canada, you have, let's say, 4 or 5 of the biggest banks. They'll adopt a standard, and that's what rules all the card in that particular country.
So you can't disable it, or you can disable the tap?
You cannot. You have a choice of using it or not. I've had my MasterCard with tap and go for ages, but I just never use it because I don't trust a Wi-Fi system to pay for money. I'd rather have the chip and pin. At least you have to put your card in a machine, and if somebody needs to hack that machine, it would have been a service company that would have put a special chip in the machine to read your PIN code. That's much more complex than somebody remote on a gas station, let's say a block away from your local gas station, hacking your signal while you're tapping going. That's very scary.
I think I'm just going to use cash from now on. Let's talk about Gmail. You call, and I have a Gmail account. You call Gmail government mail.
Yes.
That's pretty scary. What do we need to know about Gmail that's not on the up and up?
Well, we just talked right now about security. Everybody's concerned about encryption and security. I would like to talk about privacy, because I always tell people somebody will have a more secure system, they will claim another secure system, and somebody's going to try to be inspired to hack the most sophisticated systems. Gmail, it's not so much that they're not secure. They recently had an encryption increase, so they try to secure some of their mail, but most importantly, it's the privacy laws that I'm concerned. So, for example, I'm based in Switzerland. Our company has our servers in Switzerland, which is the new El Dorado for data storage. I'd rather have a Swiss privacy law guiding my supplier than the USA Patriot Act. So if you use Gmail, and even if the email is secure, your email content could be subpoenaed by as low as a lawyer and as high as a government entity without your knowledge. So people should really read more about the USA Patriot Act and learn more about it. There's zero privacy to it. And often, so that's the privacy aspect. Often what happens if you use Gmail or any other free email services, what happens is that it's like sending an open postcard in the mail. They have what we call spider algorithm. It's a technical term for spying on the internet. And let's say I'm going to send you an email about a new car I just bought. Let's say I bought a BMW. Then what happens, I may get ads for new BMWs in a week from now, or you may get one. And how would they know about the content of that email?
Wow. Alain Ghiai is a digital security expert. He's the CEO of DigitalSafe, and now there's required reading. If you're going to use your credit cards or Gmail, you better be up on what's going on. Thanks so much, Alain, for your expertise today.
May I add one more advice?
Yes.
Use a secure password with at least 6 characters in it, an uppercase and a number.
Got it. Thank you, Alain.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks, Don.